Good evening, everybody. And that wasn't quite as smooth as it would usually be because that's me trying to host rather than just sitting here and talking nonsense like I usually do. But welcome to the Fallout Bar, and it is night 8 of the Premier League. Dublin tonight, one of the great venues on the calendar for the Premier League. Atmosphere unbelievable, like it always is. And just a really, really good night of darts again. And I think I'm going to have to get to the point of rewording Jarlath Eaton's quote that we used earlier in the season. But we will come to that in a minute because we've got a new face along for the Fallout Bar. And new member of the team, Corwin, I will let you introduce yourself and give us a little intro into what you thought of the night.
Yeah, no problem at all. Hello. My name's Gerwen. Delighted to have joined the online darts team and very happy to making my debut on the Fallout Bar. As for tonight, as you mentioned, the crowd in full spirit. It really felt like Dublin was still celebrating St. Patrick's Day, and that they just love the darts over there. And once again, we were treated to a night of some spectacular darts from certain players.
Yeah, we really were. We do this every week on the show. Is what we do is we sit here and we say we'll try not to give too many spoilers away early on, even though surely no one's watching us unless they've watched the darts. I mean, what are you doing if you sat watching us if you've not watched what's gone on? Couple of hellos in the chat room to get us started as well. Malik is in. Yeah, we'll come on to that one in a moment. First game of the night, we'll sort of start with that one. Yeah, back to square one for Peter Wright. Matthew in as well. Jonah as well. We've got a few in there. So everyone, by all means, get involved. Make it easier for us because you guys make the show, let's be honest, by getting involved. And yeah, I think we'll just start with the action. And it felt a little bit like Luke Humphries just carrying on where he's been carrying on for the last couple of weeks. 2 wins on the bounce coming into this week, and he just did a job on Peter Wright once again, didn't he? The same as he did in the semi-final last week.
Yeah, and to be fair to Humphries, he just doesn't look like missing at the moment. As in, regardless of what anybody throws against him, he'll say, "Well, okay, I'll go 3-4 points higher than you in the average." As in, I know James Wade is known as the machine, but Luke Humphries at the moment is proving to be non-human, sort of robotic in his way of just producing quality performance after quality performance. And even though he's sort of hitting around 50% mark of the doubles, his average is still 103, 104, 105, which is phenomenal darts, and just shows that whatever you throw against him, he's got an answer for you.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. Like you say, he is the machine, but he's a machine in a very different way to the way that James Wade is. Like, it's consistent, but it's consistently just brilliant. And like you say, it's that, I don't know what he finished on with the night average at the end. I've not seen the overall stats, but I saw before the final it was 105, 106.09 in this game. 2 big ton plus checkouts in there as well. He's just got it all. And like you say, he's still missing a few doubles, but it just doesn't seem to matter. I thought Peter Wright played all right again this week. He's definitely still good signs for him. The last few weeks he's played better. He got his first win last week. You're hoping for him to kick on, but it's hard to kick on when you get thrown in against Luke Humphries, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's the problem, isn't it? As in, yes, you can have one good week, but then you come up against one of the best 7 players in the world the following week. Unfortunately for Peter Wright, tonight is probably, not probably, at the moment, the best player in the world. And Luke Humphries is on this crest of a wave that doesn't look like crashing. So unless Peter Wright was going to hit 6, 12, 13, even maybe at a push of 14 darter, unfortunately for him, he sort of wasn't going to get anywhere near Luke Humphries, which is a shame, really, because as you say, he showed signs that his game is there, and I know there's been a lot of should he have been in, shouldn't he have been in, but when he's not playing that bad, it's just his opponents, I guess, are taking it to the next level, and it's up to him now to show whether he's got the character to sort of get up to that 104, 105 average, which you need to compete in the Premier League.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's not one of those tournaments anymore where you can mug your way through games without playing at the top level. Um, Little question in the Daz. Obviously mentioned Littler should have won tonight, but also what darts was Wright using tonight? He was using a set of Euro 11s, and I know that from the What Darts is Peter Wright using now Twitter account. Shout out to them for making life a lot easier for me on the fly to just tell you what they were, because I'll be honest, I hadn't picked it out while he was playing. Second game of the night, and this one kind of went the way that we thought it would go. You stick Rob Cross and Nathan Aspinall on a stage, it's going to be a scrap and it's going to be a battle. They're both going to play well. They're both going to have moments, but it's always going to be tight and it's always going to go a long, long way in this one. And I think that was pretty much what we saw, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I'm quite glad with my prediction that Aspinall won the bull, because effectively that's what it felt like it came down to, with him getting to start at the deciding leg. And yeah, as you say, they're both sort of solid darts players who can grind out to win, or they can do it in style. But usually when two titans like that come up against each other, it's always going to be a battle. And yeah, neither sort of player lying down really, and Aspinall just getting over the line in that crucial last leg decider.
Yeah, after leaving himself on double one in the end, after a rogue setup dart, which he probably wasn't expecting to win the game on that, or at least if he was going to win the game on that, you thought it might have come from both of them missing a few doubles to get there, but it wasn't so much that. He only missed one dart before that. It was one of those games where there were a few big moments in this game, and I kept sort of like just noting them. Like there was the Aspinall 1-2-2 to go 3-2 up. And I was like, just noting things down as we went through it, thinking, oh, that's the one that I might talk about later and say that was the turning point. I'm making it sound like I do a load of prep for this when we all know that I just have a couple of glasses of wine and wing it. But there were a few moments like that. And it was just, you felt like that might be the turning point here, but it just never happened. They never got that big gap where anyone got away from anyone.
No, and that's what it was. As in, they sort of, yes, I know they broke each other once, I think, each during the game, but it was always sort of going to be one where you'd expect them to hold throw, and if they got a chance to pinch it, they'd have to take it, because that could well be their only chance to get the break, the leg break they need. Especially Cross, obviously losing the ball, he had to break Aspinall twice after the second leg, and was unable to do it. But yeah, that 1-2-2, I think, was Cross on 36 or
I think so,
he's
yeah.
sitting there to have a double.
36, yeah, spot on.
36, yeah. So when Aspinall took that out, Cross must have thought, oh, I might get a chance here, and this could be the chance I need. But yeah, as these quality players show, when the pressure's on, they take out the big out shots. Which is why they get paid the big bucks for it, isn't it?
That's it. We've probably done them a little disservice here as well. John in the chat saying that, remember Manly making the players with a sub 90 average. Yeah, you wouldn't win a game with that these days, would you? But we've just talked about how scrappy it was going to be with these two. I mean, both of them have averaged over 101. They've hardly scrapped their way through it that much. It was just really good quality darts from both of them. Little shout out from Jamie. Yeah. Everyone wearing green shirts apart from the two Lukes. I think there's a reason for that with Luke Humphries, and I think they can't mass produce his shirt in the same way that they can with other shirts, whoever it is that makes his shirt. I know it's not his sponsor, hence why if you see the replica shirts when you go to events, a lot of people wearing them when we were down in Minehead a couple of weeks ago. The Humphries one is not a replica of his actual shirt, and it's a sort of a fan shirt, which looks really good. I don't know whether when his deal ends with whoever's making his shirt at the moment, that might be his next one. But yeah, apparently that is with his. It's not one that he can just have mass produced in the same way. So maybe that's why we didn't get the green shirt from him. And I think Littler just does his thing, doesn't he? He's not bothered. He just turns up and just plays.
And with Humphries winning like he is he that bothered that he's not in a green shirt? I don't know. I think
No,
the
I
blue
thought
shirts working for him, so stick with it. Yeah,
that's it. At least he's sort of zipping it up a little bit more these days than he used to be fair. Are they going to reuse the shirts for next week? Hopefully they don't fade in the wash, otherwise they might have a bit of an issue. I'm sure they can get more than one though. If Rob Cross ever uses it, I quite liked it. I thought it was all right. I thought the green looked okay, to be honest.
I don't know. I'm a sort of a. I like the original shirt. I'm a bit of a fan, as in it's getting too commercialized in that sense. I think getting a different shirt for different venues. As in, although I say that, I thought Michael Smith's shirt in Cardiff was special because obviously being a Welshman is quite nice
the
to see
little
the
dragon
dragon.
on it as well, didn't he? Rather than just the colours.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I like that. Evening, Harry. Welcome into the chat room as
much.
well. And on that note, speaking of green shirts, we had 2 green shirts here. One of them didn't need to worry about changing his, although he did change it last week to a new design, which I really like. Actually, I think it looks a lot better than the old one did. But Michael van Gerwen against Gerwin Price, and another really, really tight tussle.
Yeah, and a game both players needed to win, I think, as in both struggling a bit for form. I know Michael's got his injury issues, and Price seems to be scoring like a trooper but can't hit a double to save his life. And I felt that this game was going to be sort of crucial, maybe not just for the Premier League campaigns, but further down the line this season, and I think more so for Price, because obviously with Michael maybe not being 100% fit, he knows once he gets fit, his game will come back. He's that good. Where obviously Gerwin Price missing doubles, doubters doubting him, taking to Instagram to sort of comment on different things. As in, I think
he's never taken to Instagram. Has he Gerwin Price after a loss? I've never seen any of that.
No, but I think coming into this game, he probably needed to win a bit more in terms of maybe just not for his confidence, because I think he's a very confident person, but just I guess to maybe get him a bit of a break from all the doubters that are messaging him privately who've not agreed with maybe his result.
Yeah, or had a few quid on them with sponsors in the top corner, BetMGM there, and not too happy with the outcome, which never ever do that. If you lose, you lose. Don't take it out on the player. It's just no need for it. And
exactly.
As always, be gambleaware.org. When the fun stops, stop. All of that. If it's going to upset you that much, if it doesn't come in, then it's probably the time to not put the bet on in the first
place. Keep your 50p in your wallet, yeah.
Exactly that. But if you are going to have a flutter, BetMGM for the Premier League. Every week you've got the 100% odds boost on the Premier League on a Thursday night. Lovely way to get a bit of extra value into your account. £5 maximum on it. And friend of the show, Jarlath Eaton, took full advantage of that this evening and banked himself £186. I once again donated £5 to BetMGM, as I've done every week for the 8 weeks that we've gone through so far. Mine's not going quite as well as his is. But back to the darts. Jamie, enough shirt talk, back to the darts. I don't know, I'm just quite happy to talk shirts. None of us actually like darts, do we? That's not what we're here for. I do agree with you on this one. I think this was massive for Gerwin Price to get this win. And as much as anything, winning's a habit, isn't it? As we've seen with Luke Humphries at the moment on the run that he's on, once you get in that habit of winning matches, it tends to come in a cluster. We've seen it. I'm going to give it away. Luke Humphries won tonight. He's won 3 on the bounce. It's the second time we've seen 3 people win 3 nights on the bounce. We've seen it from Michael van Gerwen. We've seen it now from Luke Humphries. When you get in that run of form, you've got to take advantage. You've got to go and do it. I thought this might be the moment where we just see a bit more from Gessie. Like you say, he's looked shaky on the outer ring, which when he's at his best, you just fancy it to go every single time. And I think in his own head a little bit, he's not sure it's going to go. Tops and tens aren't the perfect sort of can't get away from it, just safety zone where he can just take them out. They don't look quite as comfortable on them at the moment, but it was a really good performance again. And like you say, his scoring's been incredible. Like it's been the same for the last few weeks without him getting the wins. But he picked up 2 points tonight. It extends Michael van Gerwen's run to 5 straight losses now. I think that is in the Premier League. He's only won the night, or is it 5? No, it might be 4 straight losses. I'm not sure. He's either won the night or he's got beaten the first round, which is just utterly ridiculous. And it's not the way that we usually would sit here and say the way to get into the playoffs in this Premier League is to routinely pick up points every week. Unless you're Michael van Gerwen, then you do what you want and you just either win nights or just not turn up. If you get 5, you don't need to win for 2 weeks. You're all right.
But I think as well, though, it shows the strength of the field they've picked. And I know maybe a lot of people watching tonight would have questioned certain inclusions in the Premier League. But I think the fact that, as you say, Michael van Gerwen either wins the night or loses in the first round tells us everything about how strong the field is and how competitive it is. And the fact that we're sort of talking about Gerwen Price and Michael van Gerwen in a must-win game in week 8 is sort of crazy to think really how well both have done over the last few years, and I guess it just shows that the excitement and is still there, and that every game does count. And luckily for Gerwen tonight, he was on the winning side of that big tussle.
Yeah, exactly that. And like you say, it's this format. Everyone was a little bit down on it the last couple of years in that it wasn't that exciting. We're seeing the same games over and over again. But this year, I think it's really sort of brought this format to life, and the fact that we're not seeing the same. We're seeing a lot of the same games, obviously, because there's only 8 of them. You can only get so many, but you're having to play really well to get through, and nobody is sort of consistently every single week getting themselves through. That everyone's getting beaten in the first round, so it's bringing different matchups, and it's really close. We're seeing so many close games, even except for Luke Humphries because he's just battering people. But every other game seems like it's at least 6-4 every time, if not 6-5. And that's what we want to see, isn't it? We want to see good, close, quality darts matches. Thank you, Maliki, in the chat there for doing what I probably should have said. Everyone, if you can, hit the like button, hit subscribe if you don't already. If you don't already subscribe, why don't you already subscribe? Why would you not already be subscribing? Because it is just the best darts channel that there is, and I'm not biased in one little bit with that. Quarter final, and one that was always going to be played at a really good pace. It was always going to be good to watch. Luke Littler against Michael Smith, probably looking at the stats, the worst statistical game of the quarterfinals. Yet we're looking at someone averaging basically 100 and someone averaging over 97.5. Another really good game. It started off ridiculously well from Littler, and then sort of Michael Smith got himself back into it. It became a little bit more of a battle from there, and in the end, came out on the winning side, and probably not one that a lot of people were picking going into this off form of the last few weeks.
No, and it's crazy to think that, isn't it? That we're sat here discussing the world number 3 losing in the quarterfinal of the Premier League, and as in, it just shows how amazing Luke Littler has been playing.
17-year-old,
who's 17? As in, he might just have started learning to drive, and he's being tipped as a hot favourite to beat the world number 3, which I don't think you'd get in any other sport. But yeah, as you said, Littler at 3-1 up, I thought, oh, that's it now. He'll steamroll him 6-3. I think, as my prediction was, I thought that'd be another tick in my prediction box. Couldn't be further from the truth. As you say, Michael Smith sort of found another gear. Yes, the averages were the lowest of the 4 ties, but it was still a great battle, and one that sort of both players probably would have wanted to win at 3-all, but Luke Littler probably be a bit disappointed maybe that he filtered away towards the end. But yeah, Michael Smith came through and and showed that, I don't know, the bully boy grit that we know he's got, that he might have lost over the last few weeks, and maybe thinking he's got a point to prove, and sort of got over the line.
Yeah, exactly that. I think it was a big win for him. I think the main reason that he came back from 3-1 down was the fact that I picked Luke Littler to win 6-1. So there's nothing surer than me killing people's chances every week. We will come on to next week later on. Daz in the chat, but just as a little preview, he is right up against it next week because he has got the man that's just won 3 on the bounce in Luke Humphries, who got himself into that final this week by beating Nathan Aspinall. And you look at this one, and you look at 6-4, 6 180s to 0 for Humphries, 105 average to a 93 average, and you think, does that flatter Nathan Aspinall, that score, a little bit? But I don't think it did. I thought this was really close, and despite the difference in the averages, I thought that there was a real chance at 4 apiece that Nathan Aspinall might go and win this game, and he gave himself a chance to do so.
Yeah, I think. Sorry.
Yeah, go on. Sorry, but
no,
he lost. He got broken at 5-4. He got it back on throw. Really good little run to get it back to there, but then Humphries goes and takes out 60 with after Aspinall misses a dart at the ball on 81, which I'll be honest, I never felt like was going that 81. As well as he played for those last few legs before it, all 3 darts were not particularly good. And he misses that. Humphries just never looked like missing the 60, did he? And then from there, that was kind of game over.
Yeah, that was it. That 81, in my head, when I was watching it, I thought, oh, he'll need to hit the treble 19 here and give himself 2 darts at a double, just for that cushion, because you know, or you don't know, but you highly expect Humphries to take the 60 out and then throw for the match. And yeah, as you say, they weren't great throwing darts, but I think he'd almost probably given it his all to get it back to 4-all, and probably ran out of steam. But I'd imagine Luke Humphries would been very relieved to get over the line there, because 11 points difference in the averages, but it was a much closer game than the stats tell us. And again, I think that's just the magic of that, isn't it? You can be far behind in terms of the averages, but you only need one good leg, and all of a sudden you're winning a last leg shootout.
Yeah, exactly that. James Wade's made an absolute career out of it, being nowhere near in the averages. But yeah, I was the same as you in that 9th leg. I was sat there, and as we all know, I'm a big Nathan Aspinall fan, so I was fully in Nathan Aspinall's corner at that point, and I said the same as you. I said, this has to be treble 19. Like, 2 darts at 24, I fancied to go. 1 dart at the bull, just didn't fancy whatsoever. And it turned out to be that way. Humphries just rolls on into another final, 3rd one in a row, and you're thinking, next semi-final, whoever wins this one is right up against it. Another really, really close, really good quality game. And Michael Smith once again comes out on top in a last leg decider against Gerwen Price, just as he did on week 1.
Yeah, and I think for all Gerwen's good work in the quarterfinal, I think he'd be bitterly disappointed sort of losing in the semi-final, because I think he should have been 5-2 up, I think, had he taken his chances. And it sort of felt like the Price of the last few weeks was starting to creep back in, where he was going very low on tops and sort of or coming inside the tops, I should say, and ending up on 10s. And if there's one thing, when Price is in full flow and on form, that double 20 is the biggest target in the world, and he rarely misses it. So, yes, I think obviously he was delighted to get the win against Van Gerwen. Probably then an hour later thinking to himself, how have I lost this semi-final? But again, take nothing away from Michael Smith. He's averaged 101 and played well and grounded out like Michael Smith does. But yeah, I think it's probably the one that got away from Price tonight. Although, had he come up against Humphries in the form that Humphries was in the final, would it have made a difference? Probably not. But it certainly was an exciting semi-final from a neutral point of view.
Of course it was. It was a really, like I say, really good game again. A few breaks early, and then it just dropped into that rhythm of holding throw. They're both really good on their own throw to keep it there. And then obviously Price in the decider misses the bullseye for the 1-2-1. And I tell you what, Michael Smith never looked like missing that 104, did he? It was as soon as he hits the treble first start on the 19s, he's then got the big target of 19 or 7 to make sure that he gives himself a shot, and he obviously took it out very, very quickly. I think he pretty much beat the camera to the double 14, as he quite often does when he's in full flow, and gets himself into a final and gives himself that opportunity to go and potentially put 5 points onto his total and give himself that chance to get right back in the mix there. I think give himself the opportunity to get back up the table, give himself a little cushion to the people behind as well, where it doesn't feel like he has to go and win nights. He can just comfortably just make sure he keeps picking points up. However, you don't get much opportunity to do that against Luke Humphries, do you? It's just another spectacular performance in the final. At one point, he was threatening to break the all-time highest televised average of 123.4 as it stands. He was, I think, 3 legs in, or possibly into the 4th leg, he was averaging above that still, which is just utterly ridiculous. And he just didn't see any way that Michael Smith could get himself back into it. And the only way he managed to get back into it was just firing in big checkouts. It's the only way he was having any sort of opportunity to do so.
Yeah, and Michael Smith obviously won the bull, and then you've done the hard work of winning the bull, and then you lose your first two legs you start, which isn't ideal because you're then finding yourself 4-0 down, and with Luke Humphries in that sort of form, you got no hope. As in, you're praying he loses 2 darts or something and starts throwing with 1, so his average comes back down to normal.
He's still average about 60.
Well, that's it, isn't it? And you're still going to struggle. But yeah, I think Michael Smith had 2 tough battles in Luke Littler and Gerwen Price, and yeah, he'd have had to raise his game again to a level which we probably haven't seen this campaign from Michael Smith really in the Premier League, where you're looking at 106 average to compete with Luke Humphries. And yeah, I don't know, just every dart Luke Humphries throws at the moment seems to land perfectly, as in he can't do anything wrong. As in, I'd hate to face him in a competition just because it'd be embarrassing for me personally. But he's just making these pros look not average, because they're much better than that, but he's 8 points higher than Michael Smith in the final of the Premier League, and that's world number 1 against the world number 3.
And he dropped off for the last few legs.
Exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. He enjoyed himself then because he'd done the hard work. But no, he's just phenomenal confidence and form at the moment. That, well, for him, he hopes it lasts all year, but every other darter with a tourcard's hoping it slips off a bit.
Something goes wrong, but I don't really know what's going to stop him at the moment, the way he's playing. I think the moment that showed how well he was playing wasn't in this game. We forgot to mention it earlier on, but in the quarter final when he blocked the 20 with the first on the Shanghai with the first start, blocked the treble and just went bull. I think that shows you how confident he's feeling, and he just never thought it was going to miss. I think he's just playing at such a level now, and like I say, that is now 3 night wins on the bounce. I actually think that at the moment, that Gerwen Price might be the only one that can put it to him a little bit, just because of how well he's scoring. He's the only one right now that I fancy to put him under pressure in the scoring phase, because no one else can. No one else can get near him.
No, that's it. And unless you can match him in your first 9 darts, you've lost a leg, because it's a rarity that he makes a 5th visit to the board. So yeah, Price, if he's got his scoring boots on, he gives him a game, but you're then hoping that Humphries slips or misses a few doubles so that just Price can get ahead. But then I think, unless you go 2-3 legs up on Luke Humphries, then you're in danger that he'll reel you in and pass you and beat you quite comfortably.
No, exactly that. So, as if I almost prepared what was coming next, we've got the table. I'm going to run through it for you because I have not got the technical expertise to get it up on the screen. But we have we'll go from the bottom. So, bottom of the table, Peter Wright, 1 match won, 2 points. Gerwen Price picked up a couple of points today, but still sitting in 7th place, 7 points, 4 matches won so far. Obviously, no night wins for any of these players so far. Then you've got Rob Cross sitting on 11 points after just losing out to Nathan Aspinall in the first round today. Didn't pick any further up. And for the first time in a long time, Luke Littler is not in the top 4 anymore. Drops down courtesy of overall matches won. Despite having the same points as Michael Smith, he's now, matches won and also a night win for Michael Smith puts him ahead, even though both are on 13 points. Smith in 4th, and then Nathan Aspinall, again, no idea how they've split Aspinall and Smith. I assume it's on leg difference or something like that at this point, because also has 13 points, 8 matches won and 1 night win. Then we have a little gap to Michael Van Gerwen. As we said, he's picked up 3 night wins, won nothing else, so he's got 15 points. And big gap now, top of the table. Luke Humphries extends his lead out to 22 points. So he's got a 7-point lead over Michael Van Gerwen. He's already now 9 points clear, nearly 2 night wins away from Luke Littler in 5th outside of the top 4. Are we at the point now, even halfway through, that we're saying that he's in?
Well, barring a ridiculous dip in form that would see him fall off the darting planet, I think you can almost guarantee his place at finals night. And the scary thing is, he's on 22 points after 8 weeks. He could, you expect him to cross the 40 points the way he's playing, even more. Could we see him reach 50? That would be quite a feat.
That would be an achievement. I mean, the way he's playing, if he keeps winning every night, it's quite possible he'll get there in no time.
I'd say he could be sitting here in 8 weeks saying he's got 62 points, having won 11 nights on the trot. But
I mean, he might just take the last few weeks off if he gets to that point. If he reaches 50, he might as well just put the darts away for a few weeks and have a rest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but no, it's fantastic to see, really, isn't it? And in one way, the fact there's only one runaway leader, the rest of the pack is still quite close. As in, Price and Wright, I guess, are on the verge of slipping off. They need to pick up some night wins, really, to get the full 5 points to check them back in the mix. But then 2nd to 6th, 4 points separating the
really
the
close.
5 of them. So that makes it interesting and exciting, and obviously, as we said earlier, with them all picking up points from each other, it should make it a very exciting climax.
Yeah, it's gonna be tight right down to the end, isn't it? There's not going to be a sort of big divide between 4th and 5th and everyone comfortable in the last few weeks. It's going to come down to probably the last game on that final week of the league phase to see who makes it in. But the way it's going right now, like I say, I'm gonna take Charles Peaton's phrase that he always uses, that in the Premier League right now, 8 men come, throw darts at the board. But it's not Michael Van Gerwen that always wins anymore. Luke Humphries always wins right now. And that is the way it is. So, next week, and this is where you get put on the spot a bit here, and because I am the captain this week, I am making you pick first in all of them, because that's what I'm allowed to do, because I'm in charge. So, next week, the fixtures that we have for Belfast, as mentioned earlier, if we want to go back to talking about shirts again, all going to be in green again. We have got, opening up the night, Luke Humphries against Luke Littler. Rematch of the World Championship final. Which way is this one going to go?
I want to say there's going to be an upset on the cards and that little sort of, but I can't. I just think Humphries at the moment, he can't do anything wrong. So I think we're going to have to go 6-3 Humphries.
6-3 to Humphries, and Luke Littler again doesn't pick up any points and stays outside of that top 4. Not sure I can really argue with you, to be honest. I hope that it's really close, but I'm just not sure that Littler's playing quite as well now as he was. We're seeing it in patches, but we're not seeing it over an extended period. And I think if you drop off at any point against Humphries, he's going to beat you, and he's going to beat you pretty comprehensively. I'm going to say we see a little bit closer than you, but I think it's 6-4 to Humphries. I can't see any other result than a Humphries win in this one, the way it's going at the moment. Get involved in the chat room as well. Malachi's straight in there. We'll throw them up on the screen as they come in. Malachi agreeing with me, so that means one thing for certain, Malachi, you are wrong next week in the first game. Next game. This one feels like it's quite a big game. Michael Smith taking on Michael van Gerwen.
Oh yeah, that does. That's got tasty written over it, really, hasn't it? I think, despite Smith finding a bit of form and getting to the final tonight, I don't know. I think MVG's run has to end, and Belfast is where it happens. And I'm going to go for an MVG last leg decider 6-5.
Last leg decider win for MVG there. A couple from the previous game in the chat. Video Smith's got Humphries 6-5. Daz Reynolds very bold there. He's having Littler winning 6-3. It's going to be some game if we see that. Let's say that. A couple more for this game now as well. We've got MVG 6-5. Video Smith there agreeing with you there, Carwin. I think he fancies that one there as well. And we've got MVG 6-4 for Malachi. And we've got Jamie as well, MVG 6-5. I'm going to go the other way on this one. Just going off, I don't think MVG is going to win the night, giving away my prediction for later on in this section. And as we know, if he doesn't win the night, he doesn't win a game. So I fancy that Michael Smith nicks this one. I think it's really close as well. I think it's 6-5. I think it goes all the way, but he's the one that gets over the line in the decider. Daz has got it comfortable for Michael Smith. A couple of weeks ago, I'd have been all over that one there with Daz. I just think the shoulder looks a little bit better for MVG. Whatever injection he had in it last week has clearly worked. The throw looks a lot better. He looks like he can reach on tops as well now. So I think it'll be closer than that, but Daz has got it 6-2. And then we've got Nathan Aspinall against Gerwen Price, which it's getting to the point of being must-win for Price at this point, isn't it, I think?
Yeah, and without giving away too much of my winner of the night prediction, I think Price's Premier League campaign starts next week, and I can see him getting past Aspinall. I'm a big Aspinall fan, but I don't know. I think tonight, despite the semi-final not going his way, Price will feel he'll find a bit of that hunger again, and when he gets a bite of that hunger, I think he's a dangerous player, and I think it'll be a 6-4 Gerwen Price win.
6-4 to Gerwen Price. Malachi's got 6-3 to Nathan Aspinall. I'm with you here. I fancy Gerwen Price to win this one as well. I think his scoring power is too good at the moment. I felt he looks a little bit better on the doubles tonight than he has. He still wasn't perfect by any means. There's still improvement to be made, but he did feel a little bit more like he was getting back to his level. We saw a lot more of him pumped up and roaring and giving it the big one as well, which we've not really seen through this run recently, even when he's been playing well. I think because he knows he's not been winning enough matches, I think he's sort of toned that down a little bit. But tonight, it felt like it was really there in that first game, certainly. And I think he'll have a little bit too much rasp. I think his top level scoring will give him enough opportunities that even if he does wobble a little bit, he'll have time. So I think he wins this one 6-3. Daz has gone for Aspinall 6-5. I think that is always the smart play. If you're backing Nathan Aspinall, back it to be an absolute 6-5 scrap. Can't go wrong with that. If Asp wins the bull, he wins 6-4 for videos. So fancies that he manages to get a break in there as well. And then Jamie's got Gezi 6-3 as well. It's got to click. It has absolutely got to click. Carwin's already given away his prediction for the night winner. I've religiously been picking Gerwen Price to win the night for the last 3 weeks. So I think we know where I'm going as well. So yeah, it has to click somewhere. There's no way it can't click at some point. And I think back in Belfast, where he had 2 9 horses last year, I think it might just be the one where he does it. And then finally, we have got a game where I think we're beyond must win for Peter Wright here. I don't think it matters anymore at this point. I know we've still got 8 weeks left. There's still a lot of points to be played for. Like you say, there's another 40 points available. However, I just can't see any way that he makes it into the top 4. However, the man that can and who's just on the outside looking in at the moment is Rob Cross, and he takes on Peter Wright in the last quarter final. What do we fancy in this one?
Yeah, well, I don't think Peter Wright will be picking up any points again next week. I don't know. As in, he's playing better, yes, but I just think his level at the moment is not high enough to compete with the other. Well, the top 6 anyway. I know he beat Gerwen Price last week, but in terms of the other 6 players in this Premier League, I just don't think he can match them. And I actually think Rob Cross is going to win quite comfortably. I will give Peter Wright 2, just because I think Rob Cross slips up a bit more maybe than Luke Humphries does, but I'm going to go for a Cross 6-2 win.
6-2 win for Cross there. Video Smith the same there, 6-2. Daz in the chat room, 6-5 to Wright if he wins the bull. Okay, yeah, I see that. We're going to be a long night if Daz is coming in there. Like, got 6-5 everywhere. And we start the fallout at about 2:15 in the morning. But then we've got Maliki's got Cross winning 6-3. I can't see anything but a Cross winning this one. I think he's playing too well at the moment. Jamie's got it 6-3. I think it's closer, but I still think it's a Cross win. I think 6-4. I think Wright's playing well enough to pick up a few legs. But I think when it comes down to it, Rob Cross is playing too well. He's too confident at the moment. I know he lost today, but he really fancies his game at the moment. He feels like he's playing well, and I think that will show when it comes down to it. So the final bit then is, from your quarterfinalists and your winning quarterfinalists, which 2 reach the final and who wins the night?
Ooh. I think it'll be a Luke Humphries Gerwen Price final, and I think Price comes out on top. 6-4, I think. Price wins the final.
I like that prediction, and it's going to look like I've just copied your homework here. I can't see any way that Luke Humphries doesn't make another final the way he's playing. I think he beats Smith in the semi-final. But I think Price wins as well. And like I sort of touched on before, I fancy that when it comes down to it, his scoring is going to be enough to keep him in legs and put him ahead in legs, even with Humphries' scoring power. And if you can put him under pressure, we've not really seen anyone put him under pressure in the scoring phase. We might just be able to get into it. I don't think you can really get into wobble anymore. He's played too well. But if he can just do that and put him under a little bit of pressure, I think he goes on and wins it. However, if it gets to 5 apiece, I don't think he wins it. He has to win it 6-4 or better, and I'm going with you. 6-4 win for Gerwen Price in the final. So nothing surer than he gets beat first round next week. There's nothing surer. We've got a few in the chat here as well. Malachy giving us a 6-3 win for Humphries over Nathan Aspinall in the final. We've got Daz asking a question of who's the best tops hitter, Cross or Wright. Don't know, pretty close that one. Bobby Cross doesn't apparently like it, but he never seems to miss it. But Peter Wright, very good on tops. Humphries wins over Aspinall again. Aspinall to beat Luke in the final. I'm assuming he went Littler to win the first, didn't he? So Daz has got Aspinall to beat Luke Littler in the final, and then we've got Jamie Humphries 6-5 overpriced, like we say. If it gets to that point of 5 apiece, I think Humphries probably wins it in the decider, just based on the fact that nothing seems to worry him at the moment, and I think Price will be a little bit more tense at that point. But that is it for the Fallout Bar after night 8 of the BetMGM Premier League darts. How have we found the first night on here, Colin? Have we enjoyed it?
Yeah, I've loved it. It's good. Well, I love talking about that. So it's just it's been good. It's been nice to look back over a very good and exciting night of darts out there in Dublin.
Perfect. Well, that is great. The fact that you love talking about darts is absolutely spot on for this, and not just about shirts, because that's where we nearly ended up for a minute. But the good thing is that we're going to see you on our screens again over the weekend, I believe, aren't we? When we are streaming the women's series. So get a big run out over, a little bit longer than the Fallout Bar, but a lot of action to look over. Should be a really good one. And I'm sure we'll see you on here on a Thursday night again before this season is out, especially next week if we get it right and Price wins. Definitely, you've got to come back on if you get it right and do the smug face, which I've still not been able to do yet this season because I've not got one right. I've sat here and watched Dan Simpson do the smug face, but not been able to pull it out myself. Thank you, everyone in the chat room, for making this show what it is. Without you lot, it would just be me and Carwin chatting about darts. We might as well just be on the phone rather than on here. But great show as always. Thank you, everyone, for getting involved. Really good night of darts again. And like we say, in the Premier League in 2024, 8 men come and throw darts at a board. And in the end, Luke Humphries always wins. Thank you again to BetMGM sponsors. Like I say, get involved with their offers throughout the tournament. Chance to double your odds on the darts every single Thursday night. Obviously, only bet what you can, begambler.org. But that has been the Fallout Bar for night 8. Another great night in Dublin. And we will see you all next week when we are back after night 9 in Belfast. Thank you, everybody.